up, everybody? Coach Ceelo here. And man, podcast number 30. Woo! Can't believe it. It's happened and it's gone by so fast. I am so grateful for each and every one of you that listens to my podcast, that watches my reels on social media, whether on Twitter or LinkedIn or TikTok or Instagram or Facebook. I appreciate each and every one of you. I've been looking at the stats. I see that a lot of the people that see my stuff aren't actually subscribed. So do me a solid and subscribe, like, share. Help me share this with other salespeople. I think if you've been listening long enough, you know that I'm giving really good advice here. This is years and years worth of advice that I'm giving, and I'm sharing it all with you guys. So today, what are we going to talk about today? Today's a good one. So let's say that you've been following my advice, or maybe you just came across me and it just so happened. So you just popped your goal, whether it was to make $100,000 for the year, or whether you just popped $10,000 a month for the very first time, or $20,000 a month for the very first time. It's the first time this happens. Now what? What do you do next? Well, number one, the very first thing I want you to do is to celebrate the win. And I mean immediately celebrate the win. I mean, if you just popped it today, go out there, get yourself a great dinner, go out there, get yourself something nice. Take a quick break and just celebrate it. Let it sink in. Literally, let it sink in. Accept the fact that you are the type of person that does this and deserves this. Why is that important? I'm going to tell you why that's important. The first time that you hit that goal, you've been trying to do this for a very long time. So your experience is that you haven't done it. And now you did it for the very first time. You're going to be fighting imposter syndrome. A lot of the times that happens to a lot of the salespeople. It's like, okay, I did it. Great. Now what? Celebrate the win. I've been planning this. I've been seeing this. I've been visualizing this. I manifested this. Now go out there and enjoy. We used to, in my business, we used to call it calling in rich. That means that the very next day, they would call in rich. They would call in sick, and they would go and maybe take the weekend and go to Cancun or go somewhere, take your family somewhere, take your wife, your girlfriend somewhere. Don't misunderstand. I'm not saying blow all the money you just made. What I'm saying is celebrate the win so that your nervous system, so that your subconscious accepts not only that you did it, but that you put in work and that it was deserved. I want you to see yourself as someone that not only does this, but that deserves it. And the only way you can do that is by rewarding yourself. After you've rewarded yourself, then we'll get into all the other things. But we literally used to call it calling in rich. And that is the very first thing that you got to do. Guys, trust me on this. Imposter syndrome is real, and you can get a head up on it. You can kind of beat it just by celebrating that win immediately and letting it sink in. Now, as soon as you do that, so now you called in rich, you celebrated, you took a weekend off, you partied, you enjoyed it. You were like, wow, this is great. I am now part of, the group of the few select people that make six figures every year, that are making 10, 20 grand a month, 30 grand, 40 grand a month. So now you are linking that to who you are. Well, now we got to get to work. Number two is you got to do a mental inventory and ask yourself, what actions did I take? What rituals and sequence of events did I do to deliver this result? Now, when you ask those questions, like I've told you guys before, your brain is a computer, and whatever you ask it, it's going to deliver, right? It's going to give you a bunch of data. It's going to tell you every single thing that you did or that you think you did that helped you get there. And 80% of it may be real. The other 20% may be irrelevant garbage, right? So I don't know if this has ever happened to you, but anytime in the past, obviously before I was mentally aware of this, anytime I would have like a really big sale, I would see what it is that I did that day and try and repeat those the exact same actions the next couple of days, right? And some of those were the right things to do, but other things were silly. You know, like maybe I had a special pen with me. I did an episode on that when I was talking about the whole series, the Woo Woo series, and how you can give, you know, certain attributes to a pen, to my lucky pen or my lucky this or my lucky tie. And, you know, is that really what led to you doing that? Probably not. But if you believe it is, then who cares, right? But the bottom line is, you know, ask yourself, what actions did I take? What rituals and sequence of events did I do that delivered this result? Why? So that you can start doing those things over and over and over again, because you just broke that level of resistance. For all my traders out there, you just broke that level of resistance, and now you want that resistance to become support, right? You broke through, and now you want to stay there, right? So number 3, make sure to implement a routine that incorporates all these actions with discipline, but still fluid enough to add things that make sense and remove things that don't work. So remember, number 2, we took a mental inventory of everything that we did, right? Or everything that we think we did to get to where we're at, right? And now number 3, you're going to make a routine around all of those things that you did. You want to create discipline there. Why? Well, discipline's important because discipline is what will get you where luck hasn't. You know, luck could be a fluke, but discipline, there's no flukes with discipline, right? But with that discipline, you still want it to be fluid. You still want to be able to peek and tweak, because as time goes by, you'll start noticing which one of those things of your routine actually do work, actually do make you feel good, actually do get you in that selling state, and which of them was superfluous, which of them it was just extra. It just happened. It was just one of those things that happened to have happened on those days where you did really well, but had nothing to do with your performance, and then you can remove them. Because what's going to happen in the beginning is you're going to want this so bad. You're so excited that you made it, and congratulations for doing that, right? But you're so excited that you're going to want to repeat every single thing you did. And so if you do that with discipline, what will end up happening is you're overwhelmed, you know? Oh yeah, I did my manifestations, I did my affirmations, I went to the gym, I told myself I was the greatest, I looked in the mirror, I did the Superman, I did the Wonder Woman. You go crazy if you do everything, right? But in the beginning, you're gonna try and, you know, do that mental inventory of everything, and you're gonna do every single thing because the last thing you want is to go back, right? And so be fluid enough to where you can figure out which works, which is not working. All right, I'm going to lay heavy into this part. I'm going to start letting this part go. And that way you can start figuring out what your routine is. Number 4, don't change your lifestyle or your spending other than the celebration you did to commemorate the win. Biggest mistake you can do is to go out there now, oh, I hit 6 figures, and now you start blowing money like a madman or a madwoman. You can't do that, because I'll have another episode, another podcast, another day on what to do once the money's coming in so that you can create different streams of income, right? But If you've been broke all your life, if you've been a brokey all your life, listen, there are people that are poor and not broke, or that are broke, I should say, and not poor. One's a mindset and one is a condition. You do not want the mindset. The condition is what it is. But the mindset is very, very poor. That means that you're spending more than you're making. It doesn't matter how much you make. It just matters what you keep. And so if you're spending more than you're making, and now you're making more, and now you're spending more than you're making, you're not getting anywhere. So what I want you to do is continue to spend like you were spending, even though you're making more. Yes, do a little mini splurge when you are commemorating that win, but do not go out there and start spending more. Now, when you are at a high level already, if you're already a high ticket closer, if you're already making 40 grand a month, 30 grand a month, whatever, and you want to get to the next level and you decided you wanted to buy yourself a luxury car or something, there are people that can use that as a motivation because they tell themselves, well, I deserve it. I'm the kind of person that deserves this. And then now that's one of those factors that push them to continue to make more money because, hey, I'm spending more. But that's not the smartest way of doing it. But there are people who do that. But that's not my advice for you. And especially not if you just broke into that new level. All right. Number 5, ensure lateral growth in other parts of your life that will strengthen your newfound identity. Think of it this way. You just broke through to the next level. Now you need to create a support under you. How do you create the support? Everything is built around identity. So if you see yourself as the person who now deserves this and who is now part of this new group of people, right? You need to create more support under that. And you do that with personal growth. You do that with your life. You do that with your relationships. You do that with your religious and spiritual relationship. You do that with your body. Now, I'm not one to talk about that clearly, right? But that's always been my demon. That's always been my monster on a leash. But those that have known me during a long period of time have known that I will gain weight and then I'll lose 100 pounds and I will be semi-buff, not like a bodybuilder buff, but I'll do that. I'm actually in the process of doing that right now. So you guys are going to see the transformation happen within the next couple of months, probably up to a year. But anyway, the whole point is it's not just in sales and in money. If you want this to become part of your identity, then throughout, you've got to see yourself. How you do one thing is how you do everything. So if you see yourself as a winner in one part of life, then you have the identity of a winner. Well, if you win in one part of life, you should be winning in all other parts of your life. And it doesn't mean you're not going to be, you're going to take an L in places. That's okay. But in general, if you get other parts of your life where that you're also displaying those winning attitudes and behaviors, and that winning attitude is part of your identity, you've now created a support. Think about it like a table. You just broke through the resistance here, and now you're creating a table there. Well, you've only got one leg, which is the money you're making. Well, the other 3 legs could be your spiritual life, your relationships, your body, whatever. You want to build a strong table to hold that identity that you've now reinforced and created. So number 6, now that we've done that, let's start setting goals. Because finished never is, right? The minute you become stagnant, doesn't matter what level you're at, then you're losing already. You're going down. So great, congratulations that you got there. But now that we've stabilized, we've done the mental checklist of everything that we got to do. We figured out what works and what doesn't. We're ensuring lateral growth to create that strength, that support that we need. Now we got to focus on what's next. Where are we going next? Start setting those goals. And then start refining your focus. So the number one focus after having done it once, it's very simple. It's to do it again. Here's why. You just broke through the resistance. Was it luck? Was it timing? Was it all the hard work you put in? It probably is a little bit of all of them. But the point is, you need to convince yourself, as I said before, that you are the type of person and that you are deserving this. So once could be a fluke, could be luck. But twice is proof of concept. Twice doesn't happen by luck. Twice doesn't happen by a fluke. So put your head down, get to work, and work like your life depends on it, because it does. If you are trying to build the identity of becoming the entrepreneur, the salesperson, the business owner that makes multiple six figures a year, well, that happens by becoming the salesperson or business owner that makes six figures a year. And the only way you can do that is by repeating it. If you made $10,000, $20,000 one month, that doesn't mean anything until you've done it a second time. Because now with the second time, now you've got proof of concept, right? This is your identity, your self-worth, your self-image. But give yourself some room. Give yourself a little, you just got there. And keep in mind how long it took you to get there. Now, that's not an excuse not to go out there and do it again. But I'm just saying, if you did it this month, have every expectation in the world that you're going to do it next month. But if you didn't do it next month, give yourself a break. How long were you trying to get there? Make it happen on the following month. It doesn't matter. The point is, the minute you do it a second time, it's proof of concept. You are the person that does this, and now it's sunk in. Once you've done all of that, right? Once you've done it a second time, now the focus isn't on doing it again. It's on being consistent. That's it. So focus number one, as soon as you've done it, is to repeat it. And you want to repeat it as soon as possible, but give yourself a little grace, right? Once you've done it a second time, now you've proven it to yourself and everybody else that you are the type of person that can do this. And so now the focus is just to do it consistently. Because now that you've done it twice, you can do it twice again. And now that you've done it 4 times, you can do it 4 times again. And now that you've done it 8 times, you can do it 8 times again. And guess what? 8 times is a month and a half. You are that person. Congratulations, you made it past the finish line of the first leg of the first race of your life, right? So again, celebrate the win, take it in, show yourself that you are the person, and then let's go. What's next? Guys, this is very simple. If you follow what I'm showing you to do, how I'm showing you to do it, listen, this isn't something I read in a book. This is stuff that comes from my own personal experience. I have helped thousands of other salespeople do this. You keep listening to me, you'll be the next.